Whoa, it's the Illusion reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth. Killing a little bit of time at soccer practice. I was practicing with this team, the Green Lightning. Go Green Lightning. Anyway, I was talking to a friend of the channel, Trent, and he mentioned this condition he has, which I think I suffer from, and I don't know, man, maybe a lot of people suffer from it. It's called decision paralysis. I think he coined the phrase, I don't know, but decision paralysis. And I instantly knew what that was. You know, we live in a time in our reality where there are so many choices about everything from and each one of those choices leads down one road versus the other, and every choice you make, there's an infinite possibility of all the other choices you could make. So every choice you make, that's the choice, and you have to leave the infinite possibilities behind, which is, I think, a tough gig, because you can kind of get a look at all the potential options for the choices you could have made, right? It's easy to leave behind the choices that you know are going to end in disaster. Yeah, like the bad choices. I mean, maybe not, but the bad choices are fairly obvious and easy to leave behind, but the good choices, right? You can look at a lot of decisions that you make about your life and realize how many good choices there are that lead to all these, you know, prizes, if you will. Whether it's deciding to be a snowboarder versus a surfer versus a street artist versus a musician versus a doctor versus a lawyer versus an accountant, right? All of these decisions have all sorts of ramifications about it, about how you live your life, about how you structure your family, about when you're going to have a family or not have a family. And so those are like the big decisions. But then on the smaller level, there's just an infinite amount of decisions about what kind of shoes you're going to buy and, you know, what kind of music you're going to listen to, or how you're going to edit your video or not edit your video, how you're going to market yourself or not market yourself. What are you going to do? How are you going to write a song that leads to here when you want to write a song that leads to there, or make a video about this instead of that. And you get to these moments where you realize that you could do any one of them. So which one are you going to do? And I think I realized this about my life a while back, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I go, the problem isn't what am I going to do? The problem is what am I not going to do? And I've been really struggling with that heavily the last like year, you know, because every day I get up on the ranch and I have to make a decision of what 9 things am I not going to do so I can do the one thing, right? And some of the things like I want to do, like right then and there, because they're like fun or they're this or they're that. And then there's the thing that I have to do in order to progress, right? And then you can look back on these things and be like, was that the right thing, not the right thing? And it's almost debilitating. And so decision paralysis. It's not about what you are going to do. It's really about all the things you're not going to do, is the paralysis. And like I said in the beginning, it's easy to not do things that you know are going to have negative outcomes, especially if you know what those negative outcomes are going to be, right? If you've lived a while, I think it's easier almost when you're younger because you don't know a lot of the paths and where the negative things go. But as you get older, I think it becomes quite apparent. And then you also have a history of all the things you haven't done, right? All the trips you didn't take, or people you didn't talk to, or jobs you didn't quit, or whatever it is. So you move on through life and you get to this point where, what am I going to do? And when you make that decision, that's that decision. That's that and you got to live with it, right? There's no do-overs. There's no go-backs. Yeah, I mean, you can make a decision again, like the spiritual practice is like you'll keep getting offered to make the same decision over and over again till you stop repeating the mistake, right? So, I mean, that's a different spiritual thing about decision making. But I think for just your average person living in 2023, what do I do now? And I know people who have spent a lifetime debating decisions, just not knowing what to do because there are so many options. And I think that is one of the hardest things to maneuver around is the overwhelming abundance of options. And that no matter what option you choose, there's going to be an infinite number of possibilities you missed out on, right? Like I remember like early in my life making a decision strictly about just about being a surfer, right? This is what I do. I'm going to chase this. And then as life progressed, like instead of following that path to its logical, just burnt out expat, sun-drenched, monolithic surf reality, I kept making other decisions that were like, oh, I'm going to go over there. And each time I made a decision to expand my horizon, right, each one of those paths had less options to it than the first path, right? The first path to be like that had like all sorts of bandwidth to it because you're young, you have time, you're moving through it. And then you branch off and each one of the paths, each branch gets a little bit smaller, right? And so you realize things about yourself along the way, and you realize how much you missed out on because you made the decision. And I don't mean missed out on in a negative way. I mean just missed out on it because that's just the inevitable thing. I remember going surfing down and like being a surfer when I traveled and just like sitting by the coastline and just being like, this is stupid. Like there's a whole other country here. Like, why wouldn't I go check out like other parts of the country and see what's going on in there? Like when I was down in Chile, we cruised around and then I went and spent some time up in the capital city, Santiago, just to see what was going on up there. But I know people that like would go to like just the ocean, stay by the ocean, and that's it. That's all they would ever know about the country. And I think that like that's a prime example. But like if you went and explored the whole country, would you get enough time to be a surfer when you got limited time, right? So it's very much this gamble that you have to make when you make a decision that this is the decision that's going to fulfill the overarching stoke, if you will. And you know, because we're human beings, that you have to suck up a certain amount of bad decision making along the way just to get the good decision under your belt. So I get how decision paralysis is just this moment where you're like, I don't know what to do because there's so many options I want to do. If I pick that color for that, I exclude all the, that's like, if you look at my art, I just whittled it down to like, I just deal with like 7 or 8 colors. That's it. I deal with black, red, yellow, orange, purple, green, blue, and magenta. 7 colors. And of course, non-color, which is a color too, right? And from in there, why I don't deal with all sorts of colors is because, like, I just don't want to have to deal with all that decision making of putting it down and being like, oh, that was a botch. Oops. So you learn all these things along the way, and you limit your scope to hone your thing. And I don't know, I find it very, very much, I get what this dude was talking to me about decision paralysis, how ultimately, like, you just got to make a decision, and you've got to make a decision, and damn the torpedoes, dude. Like, you're either going to sink the battleship or you're not. And just hope that you can get from point A to point B. So should I just mix up a bunch of metaphors right now? So I don't know if you relate to that, or the whole thing is I have that paralysis, decision-making paralysis, because there's just so many good decisions out there. Because when I know the bad decision, it's easy to make a decision. Bing, just go that direction. And here we are. Here we are in 2023, hoping we've made all the right decisions, knowing that at any point along the way, we could have just gone sideways. Like, I think about, like, there's a decision I made not to go surfing in Morocco right before I found out I was my wife was pregnant with Owl, right? Life was difficult, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this relationship, the whole thing. I'm going to just go surfing in Morocco. I just want to go surfing in Morocco. And I didn't. And then, like, a week later, I found out, I was having Owl. So there you go. I still want to go surfing in Morocco, though. I'm going to get over there. I don't know. It makes me crazy sometimes, dude. And then, as a surfer, it's like that thing of, like, I learned as a surfer, right? Like, you'll pull up to, like, a surf spot, the waves will be pretty good, and you'll be like, oh, but this other spot up the road could be better. And I've driven up to that spot better, and it's not been better, and gone back to the spot I originally had, and the wind was up or the tide changed, and now it sucked too, so I didn't get a surf session. So I've learned I remember this, yeah, whatever, it's another story. But anyway, so I've learned to not go to the next spot thinking it's going to be better, and just make a decision on that spot and go, okay, I'm paddling out here, and that's what I'm doing, dude. So anyway, if you suffered from decision paralysis, you're not alone. Anyway, it's The Illusion signing off, dude. And links down below. Get some long sleeve t-shirts. Get some art. There's PayPal, crypto links, all that good stuff, man. If you want to support the channel, we're going to try to make a video every day here. But, decision paralysis sometimes keeps me from making a video, right? I just don't know what to do. Anyway, use the name tags. That's the one thing you don't need to make a decision about. Just use the name tags. Be kind to people. And let's keep moving forward. All right, it's The Illusion signing off.